The Vagrant's Hope drifted through the Kepler belt like a wounded animal seeking shelter. Its hull bore the scars of a dozen firefights, and its engines sputtered with the rhythm of imminent failure. In the bowels of the ship, where most species refused to venture, Sarah worked. She was human a rarity in this sector of space. Her hands, calloused and stained with grease, moved with practiced efficiency through the labyrinth of fuel lines. The air was thick with the acrid smell of coolant and burning metal. Most sentient species would have donned environmental suits for this work, but Sierra simply tied her dark hair back and rolled up her sleeves. Beside her, two Velhari cubs watched with luminous golden eyes. Their fur rippled with bioluminescent patterns anxiety made visible. 10, the larger of the two, sat closest to Sierra, his tail flicking in nervous synchronization with his sister's. Why does she touch the poison lines with bare skin? 10 whispered in the chittering language of his people. His sister, whose name translated roughly to Whisper of Stars, but whom Sierra called Mira, tilted her head. The elder voices say humans feel no fear. Perhaps they feel no pain either. Sierra glanced at them, her lips curling into a smile that showed teeth, a gesture that should have been threatening, but somehow wasn't. I can hear you too, you know. Universal translators work both ways. The cub's ears flattened in embarrassment, their fur flickering through shame colors. And for the record, Sierra continued, returning to her work, I definitely feel pain. I just don't let it stop me. She twisted a corroded valve free, and pressurized fuel mist hissed into the air, substance that would dissolve Velhari's skin on contact. Sierra didn't flinch. She simply held her breath and continued working. Ten's tail went rigid. The fuel mist, it will burn? Yeah, a little. Sierra's hands moved faster, sealing the leak with a patch made from recycled hull plating and sheer stubbornness. But if I don't fix this now, the whole line goes critical. Then we all burn. The cubs exchanged glances, their private language of tail movements and ear twitches speaking volumes. They had been aboard the Vagrant's Hope for 3 cycles now, refugees from a colony world that no longer existed. Captain Yorth had taken them in as he took in all strays, but it was Sierra who fed them, who taught them the ship's rhythms, who sang strange human songs in the dark when nightmares came. The Velhari were an old race, one of the founding members of the Galactic Concordat. Their civilization had stood for 10,000 years before humanity even discovered fire. Yet here were 2 cubs of that ancient lineage, watching a human perform miracles with nothing but determination and duct tape. There, Sierra announced, wiping her hands on a rag that was already more grease than fabric. That should hold until we make port at Sirius Station. She looked at the cubs who were staring at her with something approaching religious awe. What? Your hands, Myra whispered. They're red, damaged, the fuel dash mist ... Sierra glanced at her palms, which were indeed blistered and raw. She shrugged. I've had worse. Had a plasma conduit explode in my face once on Titan? This? She gestured dismissively. This is nothing. Ten's tail began its nervous flicking again. But ... why? Why endure pain when you could use protective equipment? Why risk your flesh? Sierra sat back against the bulkhead, and the cubs immediately pressed closer, seeking the warmth that humans radiated, another impossibility, maintaining such high body temperatures without entering torpor. She was quiet for a moment, her eyes distant. You want to know what humans are? She finally said. We're not the strongest. The Chromoth can lift 10 times what I can. We're not the smartest the Therian Collective has us beat there. We're not even the most numerous anymore, not after Earth ... double quotes. She paused, and the cub saw something flicker across her face. Pain, but not from her burned hands. What we are, Sarah continued, is stubborn. Ridiculously, impossibly stubborn. When the universe says, you can't, we say, watch me. When physics says something is impossible, we find a loophole. When our bodies break, we fix them and keep going. When our worlds burn ... her voice caught. When our worlds burn, we carry what we can and build new ones. Ten moved closer, pressing his small furred head against her arm. Is that why you fixed the fuel lines? Stubbornness? Sierra laughed a sound like breaking glass and distant thunder. That, and because the ship is carrying 73 refugees from 6 different species. 12 of them are children. If I put on a suit and taken the safe approach, we'd have lost another hour. In another hour, that leak would have reached the main reactor. You risked your flesh to save ours, Myra said, her voice filled with wonder. I risked my flesh, Sierra corrected gently. Because that's what you do. You protect what matters. The Galactic Concordat might not think one human mechanic is worth much, but these 73 lives? They're worth everything. The ship shuddered as the engines caught properly for the first time in days. Somewhere above, Captain Yorth would be whooping in relief. Sierra pushed herself to her feet, wincing as her burned hands protested. Come on, Cubs. Let's get some synthetic skin on these hands before they start to really hurt. And then I'll teach you how to calibrate a thermal regulator. Can't have you growing up useless. The Cubs followed, their tails now swishing in unison, not from anxiety, but from something else. Something that felt like pride. As they climbed through the access tubes toward the med bay, Ten spoke quietly. Sierra? When we reach Sirius Station, when we find new families ... You're not finding new families, Sierra interrupted. You've got one. Weird, dysfunctional, held together with duct tape and stubbornness, but it's yours. Behind them, the fuel lines hummed with renewed life. The vagrant's hope carried on through the black, crewed by the lost and the stubborn, protected by a human who refused to let pain define her limits. And in the engine room, two Velhari Cubs learned what it meant when humans said, I've got you. It meant everything.